Everybody. It is Amber Kivett here, your leader and head of wellness and health with Life Pro. It is the Friday before Christmas, and I'm sure a lot of you are ready for the holidays and you have already prepared your families and your friends with some different gifts. Today is not about wanting to share with you my favorite gifts, but more about sharing with you my wellness routine. We've had a lot of great products that have come out here in the last year that are considered what we call biohacking. And biohacking products are just simply items that we can use that introduce natural energy or minimal methodologies in order to create this optimal environment for our body to heal itself without us having to take something, whether it's a pill or changing diet. We need to do that in some situations, but we have an opportunity with Life Pro to be able to create this amazing environment for our body to be able to heal itself and to function at high levels of performance. And if you're anybody like me, I run a very tight schedule, but I also suffer from autoimmune disease. And I've been diagnosed recently in the last year with a new autoimmune disease. It's very uncommon. And I've been fighting, trying to find different ways to heal and how to hack into my system. And so I want to share with you some of the different methods and modalities that LifePro has come out with in the last year as to how you can use that in your daily routine for bringing out the best version of you possible. Because remember, 2023 is going to be coming to an end here in the next week, and 2024 is a new you. So, a new year, a new you. We do have expedited shipping going on right now, so you can take advantage of a lot of these products, or if there's other products you'd like to tap into with LifePro, we are running a very good sale right now, 20% off and free expedited shipping, 3-day shipping. We'll provide you a link to click into that if you choose to purchase anything else. And then most important thing, I want to share with you my favorite product. The Ocax. I have bought so many of these here in the last month to be able to gift out to family and friends. It is now sold out on the LifePro website, but you can still get it on Amazon. And it is available for $64.99 on Amazon, $64.99 on Amazon. And I use it here in my practice. I've got a private practice that we do pain relief, pain management, biohacking, overall just helping people to become a better version of themselves possible. And so you can use this from person to person. And we didn't share this in some of our past episodes, but we make these eye covers. LifePro actually makes these eye covers that you can put over the Ocax, and they are available on our website for purchase if you decide that you want to try those. It helps if you are wearing makeup and you're at work and you're wanting to have an express treatment with yourself. They do have little straps or little rubber bands on the ends of them. That does not go around the strap. It won't actually work around the strap. So what you can do is you can loop it around your ear so that this stays in place, and then this goes on over the top. And so I will demonstrate that here really quick. Oh, we forgot about reindeer ears. You're gonna see it though. It still works. I'm a hot mess at the moment, right? Forgot about the reindeer antlers there. Trying to be all festive on you today. So that's how the eye cover goes on, and I've got makeup on, so it keeps the makeup from transferring over to the actual Ocax material to keep it easier to clean. So you can see just a little bit. There's a little bit of beige on there from where the makeup rubbed off on there, but it's an easy way to keep this disinfected so that you can share it among other people. So this is truly one of my favorite products that we've come out with in the last few years, and it is available on Amazon for $64.99. We were running a buy one, get one free on our LifePro website, which is cheaper than what us that work for the company are able to get them. So I stocked up, and I think I bought 8 or 10 because it's a great product to gift. It's a great product to use if you have your own clinic, to be able to allow people to relax while they're doing, experiencing a treatment. Or those who are delivering those people to your doorstep, you can pamper them as well. So just a really quick review though, want to go through, I'm not gonna go through the products, I already did that last week with the buy one, get one. Our buy one, get one frees, it's really important to remember that you can't mix and match products. So when you buy one, If you're wanting two with the buy one, get one free, you have to buy two of the same product, okay? And right now we're running an extra special deal where if you, in addition to the 20% off on the entire website, so when you go to your order and the order summary pops up, you'll see a 20% discount taken off of your whole order. But we also are giving away free massage guns. So if you purchase up to $200 worth of products or over $200, you have to hit that $200 threshold. So buy a lot of little things that you can gift out or buy yourself a new platform. But $200 will give you an opportunity to get yourself a free massage gun in addition to the free shipping. So if you're needing an extra gift to give away and you don't need the massage gun, but you're wanting some other products, now's the time to get it. So we still have some buy one, get one frees. We have our Squat Pro Wedge. We've got several different types of our air compression boot systems, the Axis Pro, the Aliva Wrap, which is air compression with red light therapy specific. The Dynaflex massage gun is one of our better massage guns that we've released in years past, and it is quickly phasing out because we are running low on those. So those are buy one, get one free, but it has a maneuverable head. So it means if you push the button, you can actually change how the position of the head rotates. So you can get to those really hard spots in the backside. Our Glide Master, our yoga wheels are just a couple of things that come to mind on our buy one, get one free. And then our slant board, which I don't have out here today. I was actually just doing speed and agility training with an athlete. So we were using some of the different modalities, the whole body vibration platform to get warmed up. But I don't want to take too much time going through the buy one, get one frees because we already did that last week. What I want to do today is show you all a routine that you can do at home for optimal biohacking. I've read in a lot of our posts, like I have this and I have that. When is the best time to do this? When is the best time to do that? So featured today, we've got the Aliva Chill Ice Tub, and I did not fill it up today because I want to be able to go from one to the next to the next. So if you're curious about how the Aliva Chill works, go back to when we launched that over the late summer months. And there's a couple of longer episodes in which I'm showing you how to ease into the water that's 55, 60 degrees in cold, and how to acclimate, how to ease into it, how to breathe through that, the benefits behind it, and how to use it in combination. If you have two of those tubs, how to use it with hot and with cold. So I'm going to explain when is the best time to use the Aliva Chill, because cryotherapy right now is a big trend, and it's not something that just started. It actually goes all the way back to centuries ago, in which soldiers would actually soak in cold baths in order to restore and experience pain relief from fighting, so that they could be restored and ready to go to continue on. So it started years ago in the European countries. And it's just now recently a lot of the research that is transitioning into what we know here is when you have autoimmune disease, or if you're trying to age backwards, if you're in your 30s, 40s on up higher, and you're trying to feel more energy, less brain fog, less joint pain, trying to improve your overall cellular health, which is really important as we get older. The cryo plunging is really powerful for that, and it's very different than cold showers. Cold showers, there's a big misconception. I was listening to some research on this just a few weeks ago. Taking a cold shower can kind of wake up the vagus nerve, and that's great if you're trying to tap into the vagus nerve. If you're trying to get a systemic cellular change, a cold shower does not do that necessarily the same way, but it does change you emotionally through the mental hormonal release response system, as well as tapping into the vagus nerve. But if you're somebody like me who has fibromyalgia and other autoimmune challenges, I hate cold. I don't like cold. So for me to get into a cold shower is torturous, which makes me feel guarded, which makes me feel tense, which actually reverses what I'm trying to accomplish. So cold showers and cold plunge in the Aliva Chill, I can actually tolerate that, and I feel great after I've been in it. You can start in that, 10 minutes at a time, working your way up to 20 minutes. And there are some people who are cryo plunging in frozen lakes. I don't recommend you do that unless you've got somebody there to assist you with that, because we don't want you to get hurt. But there is a tremendous amount of research supporting cryo plunging or cryo soaking in water that is colder than 60 degrees Fahrenheit for the reparative state of the whole body on a cellular level, meaning our body goes into a state of overshock in which it goes to repair itself, but we don't want to experience hypothermia. And being in cold shower, being in a partial ice bucket, or not easing inappropriately can actually cause hypothermia. So just make sure that as you are getting used to cryo plunging, if that's what you're doing, or you're doing cryotherapy, different when you're submerging in water than when you're going and getting into a cryo chamber where you are wearing protective gear on your hands, on your feet, and around your ears so that you don't experience frostbite, but it zaps you on a very, very cold level. And like you said, the research that we are seeing in the wellness space, in the healthcare world, is very supporting that cryotherapy works really well to help restore our body as we age and as we go through oxidative stress. So the cryo tub, the Aleva Chill ice tub, it is not temperature regulated. It takes about 50 pounds of ice to do that. But if you buy our model, there are pumps you can buy on Amazon that will actually generate electricity in order to keep your tub cold. So if you decide you want to use it indoors and you're wanting to regulate the temperature, there are pumps that actually will do that for hot and for cold. Not only that, if you're wanting to do it outdoors right now, winter season, it's going to stay pretty cold if you fill it up. You know, if you can fill it up, it's going to keep you, if it's, 30, 35, 40 degrees outside, it's going to be plenty cold for you. So that's the Aleva Chill ice tub. We have the Aleva Body Red Light Therapy wrap, and that is our newest product that just come out. And I'm seeing, let's see, not seeing anybody tapping in here. So if anybody's got questions, make sure and listen. Share if you have any questions. But with the Aleva Body Red Light Therapy wrap, this just came out. If you are wanting the total body red light therapy experience, this is our new gadget that does that. If you don't have a room that you can put a big red light therapy panel, and most people don't have an exclusive room to just hang red light panels on their walls. The red light therapy wrap is almost like a sleeping bag, and it's coated on one side and the other with almost 7,000 red light therapy bulbs. So it does a phenomenal job, and it's set up in two different ways. So you've got the front and the back, and two different plugins. So you're going to have to make sure you have. I would make sure that you've got an extension cord of some sort with a circuit breaker built into it to make sure that you have a safe setup. But two sides, each side has its own electrical input, and each side has its own remote. So if we go into red light mode, there we go. And there we go. So the red light therapy wrap is now completely on, and it zips down one side and it opens up. So it's a massive blanket, kind of like a sleeping bag, and the panels on each side expand so that you can relax and have plenty of room to lay there. It is coated in plastic, so it's very, very easy to disinfect. But the Aleva Body Red Light Therapy wrap, right now at 20% off, it's going to run $1,119.99. The weight of it is about 10 pounds, and lengthwise, it's 62 inches long. But you've got a lot of bulbs in this thing. So, and it's got 3 different modes. So you can do red light, you can do infrared light, or you can do a combination of both. So if you're interested, we've had a lot of people asking for the red light therapy wraps, total body wrap. This is what we have available right now. And so I wanted to share how that works. I showed how you assemble it. And so now I'll just get myself inside of it. And I've got each one of our special new blankets that are out here. Each one of our wraps is out. So you can just, honestly, you don't even have to zip up. I can just lay here and talk to you like such and be totally chilling out and laying in the blanket and multitasking with visiting with all of you. So if you choose to completely relax, just make sure you've got a solid surface for it to lay on. It does develop a little bit of heat, but not like our regular sauna blankets. The sauna blankets are going to generate a lot of heat with the infrared lighting. This doesn't necessarily have a high-low temperature setting. It has a high-low light as to how it puts out the intensity of the light. If you want to share it with a friend, you can have you laying on one panel and you can have a friend laying on the other. So when you go to calculate the pricing of these, it does not split in half. It comes already connected. So you can't do half and half, but like my daughter, she's a little taller than I am and she's 13. She could lay on this half and I could lay on this half. And then in about 20 minutes, we could flip over and get both sides and both of us can operate with it at the same time. So it's pretty cool how it works. But this is our Aleva Body red light therapy wrap. Again, it is red light therapy, infrared light therapy, and combined, and it's near infrared, so it's 850 nanometers. And with a frequency of 1 to 1,000 hertz, you get to choose if you want the pulsing. You can choose how much intensity or the frequency of how many flashes you get with the pulsing. So pretty cool new device. We just came out with this just within the last few months. So that is the Aleva Body wrap. I'll just leave that on for a light show. It's Christmas time. Why not have a light show effect, right? The Bio Remedy. It is one of our sauna blankets. It does not have red light therapy. It's just a sauna blanket. So it generates heat, but you are getting infrared, okay? And so the Bio Remedy, similar setup, made like a sleeping bag. I like to call it the burrito wrap. The Bio Remedy is like super special deal right now in how it's running. But we lay inside of it and you have access through these armholes. You can access the armholes from the outside. You can access the armholes from the inside, okay? And so there we go. Oh, I was already unlocked. There we go. There we go. So you can lay comfortably, or you can sit up and watch one of those Hallmark movies or watch the news. Don't recommend you watch the news because it's always negative, right? But you can enjoy yourself by just sitting and being. And what is better is the sauna better than the red light wrap? If I had the choice to choose one over the other, I would go red light therapy with infrared, because the cellular structure of the human body, if we can tap into all of our cells as much as possible throughout the human body, you have the red light therapy that taps in superficial, and you have the infrared light that goes as deep as the spine. And so to have both of those at the same time, in order to regenerate collagen and work on joint pain, work on stiffness, there's a lot of great benefits to both types of technology. But if you happen to only have the infrared, you're getting really deep, but you're not necessarily getting the same on the superficial with the fine lines and the wrinkles. And you're going to get the joint pain relief for sure. But if you can have the option of having both, why wouldn't you want both? So red light, infrared light blanket is a great product. So Bio Remedy, though, right now they're running killer deals on these. They were running these 40% off at Black Friday. Right now, the regular size run is running $143.99, and we have one that's extra large size. So the Bio Remedy extra large is $159.99. When it comes to the two different sizes, the one that I'm showcasing right now is our standard size. Its interior size is going to be 31 by 71, and you have a circumference all the way around of 60 inches, weighing 8.5 pounds, whereas the full length of the larger size is going to be 36 by 76. So you're just getting a little bit of length, a little bit of width, and it weighs 1.5 pounds more. So it's not that big of a difference, but it is around. So if you're trying to measure yourself from your belt size, the circumference of the regular size is 60 inches around inside and out, and the larger size is 72 inches. So adjustable temperature up to 176 degrees, as low as 113, and it feels so wonderful when it's baking inside. We have multiple different types of sauna blankets though. So make sure if you're wanting one that has a little bit more robustness to the outer layer, those are typically, a lot of those are made of what looks like a luxury vinyl or a premier vinyl. It looks almost like a leather. It's a lot softer, and it holds the heat a little bit better than this standard vinyl does right here. But we have multiple different types of infrared sauna wraps. So if you don't already have one of those on your list for wellness in the starting of the new year, whether it is red light therapy or whether it is a sauna blanket, I highly encourage you to look into that if you don't have a lot of space, because these fold up, can push them off to the side, roll it up like a log roll if you want to. It's not a bad way to store them. And then my other favorite that I've been using a lot of lately, you're going to hear a big trend coming that's already here called grounding. And a lot of people are talking about grounding mats. There we go. Grounding mats is just simply meant, what the grounding mats are doing. Our body is very rich in electric currents. And so even down to the cells, every cell in the human body has some kind of electrical charge, electrical energy, as to how our brain communicates and gets information to that. And the more oxidative stress that we have, the more toxins we have in our body, including metals, including stuff we put in our mouth, stuff we put on our skin, stuff we breathe. There's all kinds of different toxins that come into play when we are trying to heal and restore. And if we are tapping into our electrical systems, our body has a way of being able to repair and regenerate itself more efficiently than if we're just trying to fix things from the outside in. So a grounding mat is more about bringing our natural pH to as close to that 7.4-ish as possible, because the closer that our pH is to neutral at that 7, the likelier that our body can regulate better. So we tend to put acidic things or different things in our body, which changes the biochemistry. And so if we can change how our body functions on an electrical level, because there's so many different electrical highways, grounding mats are really good for doing that. The pulsed electromagnetic field mat, which for Life Pro is the Infrazen, is very similar in what it does. It does have pulsed electromagnetic fields, but it also has far infrared lighting, so you can use both, okay? We've got 30 different frequency setting options, and that range goes from 1 to 30. If you are wanting to use it at the end of the day to wind down, calm the mind, and restore, you're going to use it at a lower frequency so that you don't upregulate the energy. And if you're trying to get the body jump started in the morning, you can do it on a higher frequency in order to get the body moving and doing great things. Session time can run anywhere from 5 minutes to 60 minutes if you choose to. They make it in 2 different sizes. I've got the big one out right now. Let's show that here. So this is the full size. And what do you do on it? People ask me this all the time. If you are not using the infrared setting on it, you can just turn it on for the pulsed electromagnetic field setting. And again, you push the button, it looks like a little heart rate sensor. You're going to push that button and it'll blink, and you can choose to decrease the time or to decrease the frequency or increase the frequency. I'm going to keep it at 30. Excuse me. And then the time you can set, like I said, you can increase the time to whatever you want it to be, down to just 5 minutes if you really want to. Let's see. If it's blinking, you can change the time. And when you turn it on, it initially starts at 30 minutes as a default time. So 30 minutes default time, 30 hertz is default setting, but you can set it for whatever you want. And it's on and it's running. You might not feel anything, but just laying here and just breathing and just letting yourself be in contact with the crystals and with the mat itself, you can actually see the crystals and the electromagnetic fields. You can see how it's laid out, and it actually feels really soothing just laying here. If you have the infrared light on at the same time, I have on too many clothes to be able to lay and enjoy the infrared setting, because infrared works better if it can penetrate through your skin instead of layers of clothes. So the less you wear with red light and infrared and pulsed electromagnetic, the better. But if you are using the pulsed electromagnetic by itself, you're not using the infrared heating feature on it, you can lay just as you are with your clothes on and still get the amazing effects, because it's working on anything that has a polarity, which is your cells. So it's trying to neutralize all that through the electromagnetic field. So really, really good stuff there. Excuse me, I'm a little hoarse today. Oh, I'm seeing some everybody starting to flow in here. So I see Ruth is coming in from Rhode Island, and we've got Kathy from Tennessee. Super happy to see you guys today. If you have any questions, please post and let me know, and I will be happy to answer them as best as I can. Today is about sharing with you my wellness routine with some of my favorite products. I don't use all these products every day, but I do use them throughout the week. So I wanted to share with you all today as to how we can sequence these products, like when's the best time to do this or when's the best time to do that. Okay, so let's say you get up first thing in the morning. We've already got one of our red light therapy lights is off because I had it set up for a lower time. So let's turn that back on. Yep. And that way you can actually see the light show happening. There we go. Okay, so we got a lot going on. I've got my two favorite whole body vibration platforms. The Rumble X Pro has a little curve to it. And so if you have any kind of artificial joints, so you've got a knee replacement, you've got a fusion to the foot, you have, oh, that one decided to kick off because I didn't set that time. We like the light shows around here. Let's kick the light show back on. There we go. So if you have artificial joints in your hips, in your knees, or if you have a foot replacement, you're going to want to make sure that you avoid too much curve. If you already have a platform that has a curve, we can flush it out. I've got my mat. I'm looking. Yep, it's right here. I just take a cut up piece of fitness mat and lay it in the middle, because if it's in the middle, it builds it up just a little bit so it's not so deep. And then when you stand on it, it's a little bit more level than if you were standing out here. So if you need to make it more level, you can actually just put something underneath of your arches so that you can feel more level. So if you get one that has a curve, it's safe to use it, but you just want to make sure that you're equalizing out how your feet are positioned, because that affects your hips and your knees. I like the smooth surface on the Rumble X Pro. And when it comes to doing certain things, especially with my upper body, with my upper body, I don't mind using the Rumble X Pro, but I love using the Waver Mini. This is one that I travel with, and it's super light, about 15 pounds, but it's just a little guy. And I like to travel this one, but it's also the one I like to use for my arms. Because sometimes the Rumble X with all three motors running can be a little too much. And the Waver Mini only has one motor. So I can set it on a low preset program setting because I don't like manual mode. I honestly don't like manual mode in any of them because I don't want to think. I just want to be able to do. So yes. Does the red light affect your eyes? The red light can affect your eyes, but with these, because when you're laying on it, your eyes are outside of the blanket, you should be safe. When you are using the red light therapy panel, so if you have the BioHeal at home, make sure and wear eye protection. But if you are laying, if I'm just standing here looking at the lights, I'm okay. If the lights are right here in front of me within a foot away from my face, that's probably not okay if I'm looking directly into them. But just having the lights on does not bother me a whole lot. The products, like, yes, all of the red light therapy products do come with safety glasses. So if you decide that you want to wear the glasses for safety protocol, you can, but I'm far enough away from the light that it's not going to bother me because I'm not looking into it. And even laying on the mat, if I have the mat covering my chest, so if I'm laying here in the cocoon, there we go. So just laying here like this, no, I don't have to wear eye protection. I'll be fine because I'm not seeing any of the light coming out. But when I do work with my clients and when we are doing the LumiCure light therapy torch or the BioHeal, I actually do wear eye protection because I'm like really close to the light and really close to the area that we're working with. So I actually do wear eye protection when I'm within a foot of one of the more powerful red light therapy devices, which is the red light therapy torch, the LumiCure, and the BioHeal, or the big, there's a bulb that we have available, and I wear eye protection for that. But for these, I don't worry about eye protection on these, but we do offer them they do come provided with the eye protection if you want to. Okay, back to the platforms. The curved one is the Pro. People ask all the time, I want to get a Rumble X. I don't understand which one I want to get or which one's beneficial for me. If you have any artificial joints, if we have a hip replacement, we have a knee replacement, or we have feet that we overpronate excessively, meaning your arches are completely collapsed and you've got bunions developing on the inside of your great toe, you do not want the Pro because it has a curve to it. If you already have the Pro and you get hip replacements or a knee replacement, you don't have to get rid of the Pro. We just have to equalize it out. So I have put a mat on here to bring the middle up to me so that it's a little more flat. So you can hack into it if you need to, and instead of the mat going all the way across, you can cut it off and have your feet here, and it's more level, if that makes sense. So the idea is to make it as level as possible. But this one is not bad for being a curved. So if you have this one and you love it and you have a hip or a knee replacement, continue to use it because the curve is not that significant that it's going to cause you a lot of problems. But the Rumble X 4D, the original one, it is curved enough that it actually can cause more problems in the hips. My favorite one for anybody and everybody, especially those who have had any kind of a joint replacement, is the Rumble X Plus. I use this with every one of my clients. I actually have figured out how to assess their body as to why they have pain, where part of their body is not absorbing energy or where their body is adhered and glued. I have learned how to observe how their body moves and receives the energy from the Pro or from the Plus, but I put them on the Plus because it's completely flat. They can't cheat how they stand. But you can learn a lot about people by how they stand naturally loading, whether one knee is locked out, whether one knee is relaxed, whether one hip is shifted forward, whether the knees are rotated one way or the other, how the feet align, whether they've got a collapsed arch or one arch is higher. There's a lot of things that I look at when I'm looking at people, but I've learned how to evaluate where to go in their body to fix the problem by putting them on the Rumble X Plus. So I use the Rumble X Plus in my practice every single day, and we have a lot of these. I'm gonna kind of show you the room. We've got 3 down there right now, and I'm gonna turn you, and you get to see them all lined up. This is what it looks like in my gym every single day because we use them with our clients every single day in order to figure out how to help them from a pain management standpoint. So my favorite program, if you're using any of the Rumble X series, whether it's Rumble X Pro, the Plus, the 4D, or the Relaxivibe, I like the P2 program. If you're using the Waver Mini, if you're wanting to stand on it, go to the higher level of P preset programs. If you are just using it with your upper body, we're going to do a calmer. And I don't like the way that this mat feels under my palms. So like I said, I kind of cut the mats up in order to make it how I want it, so that it feels good on my hands. So when you turn on the Waver Mini, this is the Waver Mini specifically. I'm going to demo that, how I use it to relax my shoulders. There we go. Actually, we'll just bring you on down here. We'll just bring down everybody to say hello. Okay, there we go. So we're glowing. It's the holiday season, so it's all about glowing. And we want you to glow inside and out. So we're going to help you with that because if you're in pain, you're not glowing, you're fighting. Okay, I don't recommend you have all these cords laying around, but this is how we're rolling today. Anyhow, I take this mat and I cut it into different sizes. The Waver Mini actually comes with a squishier mat that is contoured perfectly to match. I don't think I have it handy because, yeah, I don't think I have it handy. This is the one I travel with to hotel rooms when I'm working wherever I'm going. This one starts at a P00 and it goes all the way up to a P9. The HA in any of these, if you see a HA up there, that means it's in manual mode. I don't do a whole lot of anything in manual mode because, again, I don't like to think. So I'm going to start this bad boy on a P4 just because, no rhyme or reason. And for my upper body, I'm just positioning my palms flat and just letting my head and my shoulders relax and just kind of letting it shake me up a bit. And by shaking me up a bit, it is facilitating blood flow It is facilitating any kind of adhesions or knots or little adhesions, trigger points I have in my neck and shoulders, my upper back. It'll start working kind of like an earthquake effect to break those down, so that if I want to use something else to help to smooth those little areas out, scraping or foam rolling or having somebody else work on me or cupping, this is kind of the perfect storm, I like to call it. This is the gentle earthquake that's shaking everything up from the inside out. If you have a massage gun, you can use the massage gun after you've done this in order to get more specific as to where you really need to loosen up some things, because most people, where you have pain is not the underlying source of what's causing it. It's just the outlet. So I'm able to find hot spots that people don't realize that they have, and that's usually where we have to relieve the problem. But I use the massage gun in order to locate some of those hot zones, which are pretty common and predictable for a lot of people. But the P4 program, it's set up for 15 minutes, and it's automatically going to change speeds every so often in order to keep my body continuing to adapt and adjust. If you get bored in this position, then you can turn your palms sideways, which changes the alignment in your neck and shoulders. And so if you're trying to get to that one hot spot underneath your shoulder blade, by changing the positioning of your palms on your platform, it doesn't matter which one you use, you're going to feel it in some different areas. So right now I'm feeling this more excessively on my tricep area, and I'm actually starting to itch a little bit, which means what? It means I'm getting rid of stuff. I'm getting rid of toxins in my body. And whether I'm sitting back on my heels or whether I'm sitting over the top, I'm going to get a great experience either way. But if you're one of those individuals who does not want to feel a lot of energy near your head, neck, then you don't want to be over the top because you're in line with the vibration. You want to sit back just a little bit so that your head is not over the unit, but the energy is traveling up the back side of my arm into my shoulder. And if I'm sitting with my fingers straight forward, I'm actually getting more here to the outside versus to the back. If I'm wanting to get more here on the front of my arms, if you're able to get into this position, we go all the way around. And this is a hard position to get into, but when you're able to ease into it, it gets better and better. And if you have carpal tunnel, if you have numbness and tingling in your arms, in your shoulders, or in your neck when you're getting up and you're getting going during the day, this is one of the easiest ways that you can start to reverse that process without surgery, is working from palms down with fingers forward to turning more to the side until you're able to get, some people might only get here, and that's fine. My arms are locked out, my elbows are locked out so that the energy is going all the way up into my neck and shoulders. And then as I'm able to get here, if I can't get all the way here, you can move forward towards the plate and lean into it. And this is less tension, less challenge than if I'm all the way back here. This is much more aggressive. So having my hands directly underneath my shoulders make it a little easier to open up. And if you have trouble with that, you can also use like a pool noodle. So I have little pool noodles back here. I have them in half size and I have them in full size. And so if you have trouble with getting all the way down and back, you can just lift, you bring the machine to you, and you can still sit back, but you don't have to get all the way out. But it's a nice little cushion on your palms. So if you don't like palms flat on the platform, then you can use a pull noodle and still feel the vibration through your palms. And this is a full-size pull noodle, so if I want to lean in on it, it's a little bit higher. So there's the difference. And I still get the energy up into my shoulders. So what is good for the shoulders? I'll show you my favorite. If I'm, so I do a lot of massage, a lot of body work, and I work very long days, but 12-hour days, a lot of days. If I have had a really, really long day, some days I'll do this like even halfway through the day. If I need to take a break for 5 minutes and just shake out a little bit, this is one thing that you can do for the shoulders. And if you grip your hand or you wrap your hands around the edge, you're gonna feel it more through the biceps than you will on the backside. And that works all the way up into the shoulder as the speed increases. Right now, I'm just using a moderate level. So I'm P4 on the Waver Mini. Right now, I'm at a speed of 35 with just one motor. When I'm using the vibration, when I'm using the RumbleX series, I do not use P2 on the upper body because it's too intense. I actually will use manual mode on those, or I'll pick a P1 or a P3 for upper body if I'm specifically doing upper body. Now, what I can do in order to work my shoulders a little bit, I'll show you a little trick here. So I can feel lots of itching, burning, starting to flow out. So I'm breaking up some stuff, which is necessary to feel better. So this is a good thing. And speed just went up. So my speed right now is at 67 on the Waver Mini. I got 9 minutes in right now, and things are shaking up a lot, a lot, a lot, a lot. So the more that my body is over the platform, the more I'm going to feel it all the way up near my head and neck. The more I sit away from the platform, the more we keep it in the arms and into the shoulders. So that's a little tip and trick for you. If you want to feel it more into your shoulders, this isn't enough for you, then you got to learn how to load. So I'll put the pool noodle underneath of my knee just for extra support. And then from here, I'll actually pick my knees up and I'll actually load most of the weight in my shoulders, which actually fires my core and my pelvic muscles, which actually takes a little bit of pressure off of my neck and shoulders because it goes into strengthening mode, which is a good thing to have. So if you're trying to work on ways to strengthen your shoulders and tying it together with your core, this right here, picking the knees up and just holding here is a good way to do that. If you're squeezing the shoulders together on the backside, you're going to end up in getting really tight up here in your neck. So think about pushing your shoulders apart. So separating your shoulders apart as you pick up your knees, and you're going to feel that a lot here in your torso, and you're going to itch a lot. I'm starting to itch a lot. So there's a lot of stuff breaking free, which is good. That's what we want. Okay, so that is my upper body quickie routine. If I wake up sore and I'm like, oh, we've got a long day of work today. And then if I'm at a hotel room and I just want to shake out and relax, I'll just sit. And you can put your arms, you can actually position your arms here on the side. And I'm shaking from my booty all the way up to my neck and my shoulders. And I'm still shaking out in those triceps, biceps areas into the deltoids. So my whole body is experiencing something just by sitting on it. So if you're wondering how to best get your shoulders in, as long as you're in contact with the platform in a seated position, the energy is gonna enter your hands. It's just a matter, do you wanna feel it on the back side or do you wanna feel it on the top side? Do you wanna feel it across the chest? There's different strategies for feeling in different ways, but you're capable of sitting on the platform and actually getting a great outcome with this. So that's how I use the Waver Mini when I travel. I have a lot of athletes that travel for tournaments, and this will plug into some of the new pickup trucks that are out. Easy to travel with, to plug in small spaces without taking up too much room. These are pretty big and heavy. This is really, really light and small, so it tucks away pretty easy. You can throw it in a rolling duffel bag and tool it around with all your gear. So it travels really nice. Going back to the RumbleX series, if you got a RumbleX and you're wanting to learn how to do this for the arms or for the shoulders, I'm going to take you up here. What's really important with one of these, they have a touch screen panel. So it's easy to turn off the machine if you don't want to turn off the machine. So we want to make sure, I'm going to choose the P2 program and push play. And then I'm going to put the mat over the top of the control panel so I don't accidentally touch it with my legs. And again, the Pro is really good for this in that if I have my hands to the side, then I'm still getting some of the energy into my shoulders. How does it affect spinal stenosis? Well, whoops, I just tapped it off by accident. With spinal stenosis is tricky because, oh, I didn't turn it off, I unplugged it. Spinal stenosis is tricky because the definition of spinal stenosis is the narrowing of the spinal canal. And sometimes that happens in early years. I've got athletes that have come in, they're in their 30s. Heck, I just had a kid that just was operated on a couple of months ago who is 19 years old who's got spinal stenosis. Spinal stenosis is the narrowing of the spinal canal. And so what happens after time is the body just gets worn out. It doesn't get enough energy, information. It's overcompensating. And so the muscles that surround the spinal column become extra tight and tense. So just being on a vibration platform will help to relax and calm the tension out of those muscles and out of the connective tissue, which takes pressure off the spinal canal. So for spinal stenosis, it makes a huge difference. It's not a long-term fix because, again, spinal stenosis is the narrowing of the spinal canal, and sometimes that's hereditary, sometimes that's just from wear and tear, and there's a lot of different ways, there are reasons as to why that can happen. Yeah, so right now, this is a lot of intensity. So if you get too much intensity here, but you're fine sitting, just take your hands to your knees, and your body can still experience the vibration, or bring your hands closer to your center, because the energy is not as strong here in the center as it is off to the sides. But with spinal stenosis, though, there's a lot more that goes on besides just the narrowing of the spinal canal. There's a lot of compensation that happens with the stability muscles that surround the spine, including what's called the multifidus and the psoas. And when you have spinal stenosis, you tend to not move as much, which means the body is not as fluid. It's not flowing the same. So if you can improve overall circulation, if you can improve how the body moves fluid from one area to another, and we can reduce tension on the soft tissue, the muscles, the tendons, ligaments around the spine, then the pain goes down. So you actually feel relieving with spinal stenosis from reducing tension and getting circulation and fluid moving through the body. So it's good stuff, but definitely not a contraindication. So if you've had a diagnosis of spinal stenosis, it's definitely not one of those that you want to steer away from the machine. I would be running to it personally. I've had spinal injuries before, and anything that you can do to calm it down is going to be in your best interest. That's why a lot of them will prescribe muscle relaxers. These machines are really good at providing muscle relaxation. So use it for whether it's for mental relaxation, which calms the muscles down, whether it's for calming down spasming muscles that are just exhausted and tired from overworking, or whether it's you're wanting to jumpstart muscles the muscles are not working very well at all, and you're trying to get them to start working. The machines work really well for that too. So there's a lot of great wins that come into using these platforms for a variety of different purposes. But yeah, so you can see how the difference between my shoulders in a seated position on this one, and if I get on my hands and knees on the Rumble X Pro, if I keep my hands closer to the center, it's definitely comfortable. If I take my hands out to the side, it's way too much intensity for me personally. So I don't like to have my hands too far away from the center on the Rumble X series, because we're running on 3 motors with this one, whereas the Waver and the Waver Mini, we're only running with 1 motor. But I can feel this in my tummy. On a side note, if you are using your machine and if you get on it and you're standing and you start to feel a little nauseous, don't be afraid of that. Some people have told me, oh my gosh, I'm starting to feel nauseous. Good. That means there is junk moving around in your gut, and your gut is releasing serotonin. Serotonin is primarily made in the gut. It's like 80% made in the gut. The gut is a large resource for a lot of our aches, pains, and problems and disease. And there's a lot of muscles that are smooth fiber muscles that quit working in the gut because of how we adjust and adapt to life, or some of us just don't move enough. And when you stand on this machine or sit on this machine, it stimulates. It's a hyperstimulation to get muscles to fire, and it can stimulate up to 90% of all the muscles in the human body to fire, anywhere from 10 to 50 times a second, without the brain sending the information to that area. So that's how I got involved with the company like 6 years ago, and it saved my life. So if you feel nauseous by standing or sitting on it, don't be afraid of it. It means it's jump starting muscles that need to be working. And the other part of that is the vagus nerve is part of your gut complex as well. And it is trying to repair and restore things along the vagus nerve, which actually originates here in the cranium. So A lot of greatness comes from it, but don't be afraid of it. A lot of people are like, oh my gosh, I'm starting to get sick. I'm like I'm on a cruise and I'm feeling sea legs. Then have a seat, but keep your feet on it, because 80% of our nerve fibers that provide information to our brain are actually on the bottom of our feet and on our hands. So if we can stimulate those and enter that energy through the bottom of our feet and through the palms of our hands, it actually enters into our body and to our brain, and it can change the reaction of hormone release. So it's a really cool process. So that's how we can use the Rumble X Pro for, if you have one and you're wanting to use it for upper, I'm starting to itch, so this is a good thing. Now, at the end of my day, let's talk about the end of my day. If I've had a very long day, and those are very common for me, having very, very long days, and when my body's tired, my body is sore, I have this one right here, the Rumble X Plus. I have this one at home, and I have a couple of them here in my facility right here. Let's see here. Here we go. Now we're on. Maybe. Okay, let me see why we're not working here. Sometimes it's something so simple just like that. You just got to flip the right switch. Again, I like P2, and so I just turned it on to the P2 program. You push the P button, which sets up the P program. And let me come a little closer with y'all so you can see what's happening here. Okay, so we got this machine running. Honestly, I'll just stand and just relax and just be droopy. If you don't want to stand and you want to sit, that's perfectly fine as well. Let me adjust here so that you don't see the top of my head. You actually get to see my smiling face, being thankful that you're all here today. There you go. Okay. So yeah, and does it matter which way you face? No, not at all. You can face this way, you can face this way, you can face this way. You can face whatever way works for you. Just make sure that you keep your knees nice and relaxed. At the end of the day, I'll just stand here and receive. I give enough energy away. I'll just stand here and receive and let the machine take care of me. I'll trace my hands down to my knees and then find my ankles so I'm in contact with something, so I'm oriented with my body. And I'll enjoy this. And then I'll roll myself back up. And if you change the position of your feet and you turn your feet sideways a little bit, and you can get into a little bit of a squat, this is going to relax and calm down any kind of spasms going on in your butt, in your hips, kind of relaxes and takes the tension off of those. And if you can reach forward, you can get it into your low back and into your shoulders. And if you turn your feet inward and do the same thing, that works really well if you have sciatica. This is a great stretch for opening up sciatica, because these muscles here in our hips, muscles here in the hips get too tight and clench down, which compresses the sciatic nerve, and you feel the zing and you feel the burning. So if you turn your toes inside, heels are outside, and get into a partial seated position, you can even get into a seated position with a chair behind you. But I like to keep my body in line with the vibration so that most of my body is receiving it. Makes a big difference in sciatica, okay? Now, another one of my favorite positions, if you're capable of getting into this position, I will lean forward and then I'll drop down into a position of a deep squat. And I actually have been so tired at some days that I can't maintain this position. So I'll actually put this up against the wall and I'll lean into the wall and just settle into this position. But it opens up the hip joints, it opens up the pelvic floor, gets the pelvic floor firing. If I put my hands together with my knees and my elbows holding together, I get a really, really good stretch and vibration introduction here into the SI joint on the backside of the pelvis. And I also get into my lumbar spine, my low back. So, and if I have the ability to rotate my knees and hips, I'll hold on to the bottom here just a little bit, or you can even lean forward just a tad. Whatever is comfortable for you, but I'll try and shift just a little bit side to side. And then trying to get back up, I'll just stand first and then I'll roll on up. So there's a lot of great benefits to being able to drop into that deep squatted position. And if you can't get here, then use the wall or use a prop. If you need to hold on to a chair in front of you so that you don't fall back, it's a great option. If you are trying to work on low back, hips, glutes, sciatica, you can do that as well, having a seat on, and just tuck one leg under and one leg out in front and just enjoy the vibration on the majority of one of your butt cheeks. Because again, it's reducing the tension in the tissue, then takes pressure off of the nerve, then you don't feel the zing going down your leg if it's truly happening because of muscles that are too tight. So we can go butterfly position here, and we can lean back to get more into our hips. We can shift side to side. So there's a whole sequencing that I've taught on sciatica and what to do on the vibration platforms with sciatica. But just doing this right here is just massaging my lumbar spine, my low back, my sciatica area, the major movers in my butt, just a lot of great areas. So that's an easy area that you can loosen up and calm the body down by just being on the platform. Okay, and so is it better to sit or stand? It really doesn't matter. You just do it wherever you want to. You have 2 vibration plates and have been afraid to try it. Oh my goodness, Barb, which one do you have, my dear? Let's get started. Let's get started right here, right now. I want you to tell me which one you have, and then let's go ahead and unpack it, because we do not want you to be afraid. You are not going to get yourself hurt. We just want to make sure that you have proper area that you feel safe if you need to help with balance, whether it's standing in front of a kitchen countertop or whether it's, okay, so it's the plus. Okay, so have you taken it out of the box yet? And if you haven't, let's go ahead and do that, because I want to make sure that we're able to help you today. This might be the reason why we're here today. But my routine, let's talk about this. In the morning, I get up. I like to get, I just bought myself an air bathtub that it bubbles air. And I have Epsom salts because my body needs magnesium, and I like to infuse it through my skin. So I'll get in my air tub and just float and feel the salt and the warmth on my body for about 15 minutes. And if I'm really stiff after that, then I will find my handy dandy Rumblex Plus, and I'll just stand on it just like this. Just, maybe bend my knees, lock my knees, bend my knees, just so I'm like getting things flowing, okay? And I might shift from side to side. I might get into a bent position and do some cat-cow exercises. So what is cat-cow? Cat-cow is you're rounding your back and you're going back flat, rounding your back and going back flat. And I'll do that on the platform. And some days I'll just stand here and relax, just like, just wake me up. I can feel the energy in my tummy. I can feel my legs shaking free. If you've got restless leg syndrome, it's going to shake itself out. It's just like, it's a good way to start the day, okay? From there, I come into work, and if I am doing a lot of training with people, I might use it intermittently throughout the day in order to shake out a bit, in order to stay loosey-goosey. If I don't have anybody that I'm working with and I'm not going to work, I actually will take my time and go through a restored process. Research is showing that if you get into the cryo plunge tub, so the Aleva Chill ice tub, if you are wanting to increase testosterone levels, the research is showing that if you get into the Aleva Chill tub first and you do a cryo plunge for 15 minutes at, let's say, 50 to 55 degrees, or if you can only start at 60 or 65, it intensifies the testosterone release in the body immediately. And then from there, if you need to get back onto a vibration platform to shaky out, then do the workout. Because if you can do your exercises, whatever resistance training you're doing or cardio that you're doing, after you have induced the surge of testosterone through cryotherapy, you might feel stiff and like, can't move. So use the vibration platform to loosey-goosey up a bit before you go and start really doing some of the exercises. Now, do you want to get in the cryo plunge tub and then go do yoga. No, that's not a good idea. But when we're doing yoga with a different intention than increasing muscle mass and boosting testosterone. If you're trying to work on mobility, then you're going to get into the Aleva body wrap or the sauna blanket, or better yet, if you have a sauna at home, we just released a new sauna over the summer. If you can get into the sauna before you do a yoga experience, or you get in the car to drive to yoga, your body's going to be all like silly putty and warm and all like limber. Okay, it's going to respond different. But if you are trying to work on resistance training, building lean muscle mass, and you're inducing that testosterone surge, cryo plunge first and then do the workout. Okay. If you're just doing a full restoration day, you can do a sauna in addition to the PEMF field mat. You can do the sauna in addition to vibration platform. You can do red light therapy blanket in addition to the PEMF mat. But what you have to be careful of is doing 2 doses of red light therapy and 2 doses of sauna back to back to back to back. So what I mean by that is you start your day in the first hour in the sauna, and you're like, I want some red light therapy. So you use the red light therapy blanket and you experience that. And then, okay, now I'm going to go lay on the PEMF blanket. And then you do that. And then you might go back into, another form of red light therapy. More is not always better. So make sure if you're using different modalities, different devices, make sure that you are allowing enough time in between for your body to receive the energy and to convert it. So in other words, if you're just throwing a lot of stuff at those cells, they don't know what to do with it, and they will only absorb what they're capable of using. So allow yourself to pace. In other words, don't just go all in and throw it all at yourself all at once, because that's not always helpful. But you can do red light therapy wrap, you can do PEMF, you can do the sauna, you can do it a couple of times a day. You just want to make sure, like, you do it in the morning or you do it in the evening. You do it at lunch or later at night before you go to bed. There's a timing between all of that. So I wanted to share that with all of you today. So those are the main things I wanted to cover with you, like the sequencing and when is the best time to do this or that, or what technology is the best for this or that. Let's see here. Yes. Okay, very cool, Barb. Not Barb. Yes, it is Barb. Okay, so you do have the sauna blanket. That's awesome. Okay, so if you have taken your RumbleX Plus out of the box, I want you to go ahead and plug it in, and we're just going to start from a seated position. So actually, I tell you what, if you have it in an area where you feel safe that you can hold on to something, a prop or a table, something, countertop, a chair, let's do this together. So go ahead, plug it in. You're going to turn it on, and you're going to turn it on by using the button that looks like a circle with a line in it. It's the top left button. You're going to push that button. The machine should light up. And from there, if you push the P button, okay, you're going to push the P button. We're just going to do that once. So I'm going to start you on the P1 instead of the P2, because the P2 is really fast paced. And if you're scared of the machine, we don't want to scare you into the machine. So we're going to push the P1 button. And then when you push the P button to where you see a P1 light up, then we're going to push the triangle, which is the second button on the top. You're going to push the start button, which is next to the squigglies. And you're not going to feel much because you're only feeling the pulsation motor, okay? When you're looking at the control panel of the Plus, whatever circle is lit up in blue is the motor that's running. It comes with 3 motors already built into it. And you're going to see that the squiggle lines are on. So if you want to go ahead and step on, or if you want to sit on it, either way, or if you want to stand on it and then have something behind you that you can sit on just in case. Now we're in oscillation mode. So the oscillation mode is like a teeter-totter effect. And the most important thing here is just to keep your knees relaxed. So you don't want to lock your knees out when you're on here because it goes straight to your back. We want to keep our knees nice and soft. The closer your feet are to the center, the less the intensity you feel, but the more weeble wobbly balance can be. So make sure you have something that you can hold on to from the sides. The wider your step is, the more intense you're going to feel in your hips and in your legs. And if you feel stuff jiggling, that's good. We want stuff to jiggle because that's what allows us to heal. The little silver discs that are on the rumblexes don't mean anything. It's just a visualization, but those little discs don't deliver any vibration. It's just a visual effect. But now we're getting a combination of pulsation with a teeter-tottering effect. So you're getting 2 motors of the 3 are running right now, okay? And I love that you're holding on. That's awesome. And again, if that's too much for you, then get yourself something to sit down on and allow yourself the ability to sit instead of stand. So this is one of our new products. It is a resistance training bench. It's a preacher. It can be a lot of different things, but you just have to have something to sit on if you don't feel safe. We want to make sure you feel safe. The most important thing with sitting, though, is make sure that your hips are sitting higher than your knees, or you're going to have hip pain. So right now, my hips are sitting lower than my knees. So I'm going to change that by getting myself a pillow of some sort and lifting my surface up. So you don't have to find a chair that's necessarily taller. You just have to add pillows to it. So I'm just going to add a little pillow here, and that raises my hips higher than my knees. So now I don't feel it in my hips. I actually feel it in my legs. And so again, energy enters through the bottom of our feet. So if we can experience energy through the bottom of our feet, it works its way up globally through the rest of our body, specifically the brain. There's actually part of the human brain that only the big toe has access to. So most important thing, when you are in contact with your feet with the device, make sure that the bottom of your feet are compressing it as much as possible and that your big toe is pushing down into it, because that triggers the whole response system of your inner thighs and your core into your back. And Pat, I'm seeing it. Oh, I'm so happy to see that. Awesome. I'm loving you guys. I'm so happy that you're here today. So, and then if you feel safe that you can stand, but just stand and relax. That's the most important thing. The machine's not going to hurt you. Just keep your knees nice and relaxed, because if you lock out the knees, then the hips start to couple, the SI joint starts to grind, lumbar spine starts to carry more tension. So we don't want to lock the knees out. Locking the knees out actually takes away the mobility in your hips, and we're supposed to be able to move through our hips. So we don't want to get ourselves in that situation. If you want to put your hands on your knees and lean forward a little bit, you're going to feel it more in your upper back while you're still feeling it in your bottom half. I'm feeling this a lot in my butt and in my back because of making contact with my knees. And if you can't make contact with your knees and you just want to make contact with your thighs, by making hand contact, I'm creating a circuit of energy flowing from the vibration through my legs into my hands, which means it's going to connect through full circle into my neck and shoulders. So good stuff. Oh, I'm so happy. It is the season and the time to be grateful. And Barb, I'm so grateful that you are on the air today, that we could help you. So you would not be, I'll just put it this way. There are a lot of people that I have learned who buy our products and never take them out of the box. I had an event here not too long ago in which we hosted 40 women for a retreat in which we were able to pamper them. I love pampering ladies. And the gal had bought one of our vibration platforms 2 years ago, bought it 2 years ago, and it was still in the box because she was scared to death of it. And just didn't realize how much she was missing until she came in and got on ours, which she already had at home. She's like, oh my gosh, I feel so amazing. I'm like, you need one. She was like, I already have one. I'm like, well, when do you use it? She's like, it's still in the box. I'm like, oh my gosh, like you've had the resource all along. You just got to get it out of the box. But during the pandemic, I was doing a lot of one-on-one calls for Life Pro with some of our customers, and there were a lot of people in New York and in different parts of the country who had the device at home, and they just did not take it out of the box because they were afraid of it. It is not going to hurt you. It is only going to make you feel great. Now, right now, I'm feeling a lot of this in my ears because it's the pulse. It's the pulsation. So if you feel it between your ears and you don't like that, just lean forward just a little bit or have a seat. If you can take your ears and your head out of the line of vibration and you're either in front of it or you're behind it, then you won't feel it in your ears. So if you've got tinnitus or if you've got vertigo, or if you're afraid of any of that, then you can still enjoy it everywhere else without having to feel it in between your ears. And like I said, I love the preset programs because they just flow in and out of different motors and programs at different times. So I don't have to think. I can just stand here or sit here and enjoy the experience and make it the best of whatever I need it to be. So, well, Miss Barb, I hope that that helps you today. We've been on here for a little over an hour, so I'm not going to take too much more of your time, but I hope that you start to use it on a daily basis. You can use it a couple of times a day. Some people ask all the time, like, um, how often can we use it? Are we limited to just 10 minutes? No, there's many times that I'll get on it. I'll get on it for like 10 minutes. It'll run out. I'll restart it. And sometimes I'll mix up the preset program. So I'll do a P2 and then I'll do a P3 and then I'll go back to a P2. I'll do it 30 minutes in a row and I'll do it like that a couple of times a day. You are only going to know how much you can handle if you try it. So I'm going to recommend to you that if you just try it 10 minutes every hour and just see what happens. If you feel really sore tomorrow, that means a couple of things, which is good. If you feel a little sore tomorrow, tomorrow means that there are new muscles that are working that have been not working for a long time, which means you just got free energy. We just gave you a gift in that your body can start to work and it hasn't known how to work because there was no stimulus to jumpstart it. So I like to say that that is the battery cables to a dead car battery, and we're jump starting that engine. So if you get on it and you feel great and you want to push the start button again, then do another 10 minutes and do that, 2 20 minutes in the morning, 2 20 minutes in the evening, and just stand and relax. That's how I actually healed using Life Pro when I was desperate for a solution. I had tremendous pain in my back and my hips after having a hysterectomy because my pelvic floor would not fire. I knew how to do the exercises. I teach the exercises. My body said, nope, not doing it. And by being on the platform and letting that energy absorb through my feet, it jump started a new effect in which my body was able to start working the way it was supposed to, but my brain didn't want to tell it to do it. So our brain is very stubborn in how it provides the commands, which are very electrical. That's why all these devices that work on a cellular level for charging the cells are quite helpful. But you are only going to know how much is too much for you. If you wake up tomorrow and you feel like you have more energy and you slept better, then keep going. If you wake up tomorrow and you feel a little sore, get on it, flush out, and get moving. Okay. The machine will not hurt you. Just make sure that if you wake up sore, the body does not like change. We don't like change, right? Body doesn't like change. It will resist change. So, but if you don't choose change, change will choose you. So we have to get the fluid in our body mobile and metabolizing and get our structures moving and firing. Because when we're moving, we are thriving. Movement is medicine and motion is lotion. When we are not moving, we are stagnant, which means our body is slowly disintegrating and it is slowly mutating with more stress. So I have fibromyalgia, I have joint pain, I have what is now called oral lichen planus, and it's an autoimmune disease that attacks my gums and my mouth. It doesn't matter what we have. If we become what our diagnosis is, we stop living. So don't stop living just because somebody has told you that you have something wrong with you. That is a code that they use for insurance, that bills, and yes, you might not feel good, but something is happening that your body wants to fight against itself. That's the definition of an autoimmune response, is the body's fighting itself instead of working for itself. And the only way that we're going to be able to overcome that is to change it up. So the vibration platform has the power to do that. So I encourage you to take it in stride, one moment at a time, one day at a time, as it works for you, because what works for you is going to be different than what works for me. But I just wanted to share with you today my routine as to how I might use some of these products in sequence for any specific kind of day. For those of you who want to run the machine 15 to 20 minutes or 30 minutes straight through, they are not programmed to do that. They started programming them years ago from a safety standpoint, liability standpoint. Some of our machines do have a 15-minute threshold on them, and some of them are only 10 minutes. So you just need to push the button to start for the 10 minutes. When it runs out, push a new program, start again, push a new program, start again until you're done. It allows you the opportunity to mix things up a little bit if you want to, but we don't have any programs that go for several moments straight through. For those of you who mentioned that you are looking for pelvic floor exercises, the most important thing that I can tell you when it comes to pelvic floor is when you get on your unit and you stand on it, I want you to assume that you've got to pee really bad or that you have diarrhea and you got to poop really bad. You are going to hold your pee and you're going to hold your poop, and that is going to start firing stuff in that pelvic floor, and you have to make sure that you're breathing because the pelvic floor and the diaphragm work as a vacuum together to transfer core energy. And if you are holding your breath because you don't want to use the bathroom, then this starts to strain and the energy is lost. So the pelvic floor, I actually got my pelvic floor very, very strong by using the platform to get started. And then the exercises that I teach in coordination with this, I teach laying down on the back. I have shown some of those exercises. If you go back to YouTube and you type into the search under the Life Pro channel, Amber hip pain or Amber pelvic floor, and there's a whole video there of some of my favorite pelvic floor exercises that I teach and how to use them in combination with the vibration platform. So if that helps, we can do a pelvic floor series. I'll make sure that my assistant is making a note of that. We need to do pelvic floor for the start of the new year because none of us want to wet our pants, right? We want to be able to skip and hop and jump and have a jolly holiday without having to worry about wearing a diaper, right? Isn't that about right? And those of you who have incontinence problems, or in my case, I've had a hysterectomy, so the pelvic floor sits a little different. The uterus is no longer there sitting like a pillow to hold everything on top. So the vacuum of energy changes inside the tummy where it all comes together as one compact unit the way we're supposed to be built. We all have the same list of assembly parts in our human body, but we are all built and assembled a little different. And that is all based off of our life's experiences. And so if you are going through something in your life, whether it is fibromyalgia or whether it is arthritis or whether you've had a hip replacement or you are not able to hold your potty, just remember that God is putting us through moments in our life for, I like to call it adversity. And adversity is just giving us an opportunity to get stronger. Okay. Adversity is resistance training in God's form. And by us getting stronger or having to look into solutions as to it works for us, not as we fit into a protocol, but as it works for us as an individual. As we start to learn those things and we start to connect like we are right here, we are able to help each other by our own experiences. So what might work for Shirley might work for Barb, but won't work for me, and vice versa. So we have to find different solutions that work, little bit of recipe sprinkling together, and you're only going to know what makes you feel great. And here's what I want you to remember. Don't be afraid to live. Don't be afraid to live. Because if you go looking for pain, you can actually trigger response in the brain, in the mind to sense pain and to find pain, and there's really nothing there. That is one of the definitions of fibromyalgia, is your brain miscommunicates with the pain receptors in the body at different pain points. And the more those pain points you have, the more likely you have fibromyalgia. It's just a miscommunication between the brain and the pain sensors throughout the body. And it happens to be that if there are other things that fit into that category, so irritable bowel syndrome, depression, brain fog, exhaustion, there's so many things that go into fibro. But at the end of the day, there are tools and there are solutions and there are tricks that you don't have to take the pill. I am completely unmedicated. I was a clinical trial for Lyrica and for now what is gabapentin back in 2005, and it made me horrible. It actually, my doctor said that the drugs are killing you, got to get off of them, which was fine with me because I didn't want to be on them to begin with. So I got rid of all of it and started moving more. When I started exercising more, just a little bit at a time, I started to feel more free and I started to detox and I started to feel great. Never developed a drug addiction, just my body started to depend and started to change and transform in the way it wasn't meant to run. So our bodies are created to run a certain way. And when we stop working for our body and start working against it is when it starts to mutate, shift, and attack itself. That's autoimmune. So don't be afraid to live. Don't be afraid to move. Don't be afraid to share your story and talk with each other, because I have wet my pants before. I crapped my pants 2 years ago. I lost complete control over my system because I stopped taking certain supplements and my bladder went into spasm mode, and not very fun. It is really embarrassing when you're 42 and you crap your britches when you're out with your 10-year-old kid and all of her friends. And you know that you've done that, right? And you don't have a change of clothes. Like, not a good day. That was me 2 years ago this month. So the vibration platform is a daily staple for me, and it gives me the ability to tighten up and work those muscles really, really on a foundational level. But it has to work when we're in contact with the ground. It has to travel up the chain. So we will have a little, oh, Barb, don't be so sorry. It is all good. It's a learning experience, right? If I didn't have that experience, I would have never known what it was like to feel for somebody who has that experience every day, because there are people who that happens every single day. And now I know how that feels, so I can relate a little bit. So don't be sorry. It's part of the experience, right? It's part of life. Nothing to be ashamed of. If it's not in your control, it's not in your control. You can't worry about it. So that's why I'm okay with admitting it, because I didn't do it intentionally. But anyhow, we will have a pelvic floor class coming up soon after the start of the new year. New year, a new you. I don't know about you, but my one word theme for 2023 was about growth. I wanted to grow myself. I wanted to grow my team, grow my brand, grow Life Pro, grow with all of you. And it has been an epic year. It has been like the best year of my life, of my career, even though I'm dealing with this autoimmune junk. But 2024, my theme is greater than me, and it's doing things greater than me, not bigger than me, because bigger than me is like thinking about size, and it's hard to quantify that. Greater than me is value, right? So everything that I'm going to be doing in 2024, yes, it is intentional to enjoy it and to have fun with the experience, but with the intention of making somebody else's life better, or making an entire crowd better, or making an entire team better, or doing good for others. So it's bigger than me. It's a God thing, I think. So greater than me is 2024. So I'm curious to be hearing from all of you in another week or so. Be thinking about how you're going to live your life as a theme for 2024, because we get to start all over in 2024, and we got to finish strong in 2023. So I'm going out on top. I've had some highs and lows all year. This autoimmune in my mouth has been one of them. Life Pro makes a red light therapy device for the mouth for cold sores, and it has been instrumental in helping me do red light therapy with my gums. It gives me the ability to feel better. But yeah, so I'm loving all the comments coming in. So I hope that you all have a wonderful Christmas and a wonderful holiday. And I'll look forward to seeing you next week sometime into preparing for a finishing strong episode and starting the new year off to a new you. So have a wonderful holiday. Have a Merry Christmas, and Happy Hanukkah to those of you who are celebrating different parts of the holidays. My heart goes out to all of you. Prayers go out to all of you. Joel, Life Pro, we are beyond grateful to serve all of you. So on behalf of Life Pro, Joel, and myself, we love you all and we appreciate you all. And happy holidays, Merry Christmas to you all.